Rahul's first story was sent to me by a subscriber named Rahul. Rahul lives in a small village and his house sits at the very end of the narrow road. Behind his house there is nothing but open field and trees for miles. One night around 2 a.m., Rahul suddenly woke up. He was not sure why at first, but then he heard a strange sound coming from the direction of his window. It sounded like someone slowly dragging their fingers across the glass. At first, Rahul assumed it was probably just a tree branch hitting the window because of the wind. But after a few seconds, he realized something was not right. The sound kept repeating, slow, deliberate. Rahul grabbed his phone and turned on the flashlight. His window had thin curtains, so he slowly pulled them aside just enough to peek outside. The moment he looked out, his heart nearly stopped. There was a man standing outside the window smiling. The terrifying part was that Rahul's bedroom was on the second floor. There was nothing outside the house that someone could stand on. The man did not move. He just stood there staring into the room like he knew Rahul was watching. Then Rahul's phone suddenly rang. It was his mother calling from downstairs. When he answered, she whispered something that made his blood run cold. Rahul, don't look outside your window. Confused, he asked why. She said, because there's a man standing in the backyard staring up at your room. Rahul slowly looked back at the window. The man was gone, but the long fingerprints were still smeared across the glass. There is a second real life truth story sent by my subscriber named Aman. Aman's family moved into an old house that had been abandoned for almost 10 years. The price was extremely cheap, which should have been their first warning. For the first week, everything seemed normal, but after a few days, Aman started hearing strange noise at first night. Footsteps. The strange part was that his bedroom was on the top floor of the house. There was no attic above it. Every night around 3 a.m., the footstep would start slow walking sound directly above his ceiling. When Aman told his parents, they assumed it was probably rats or wood expanding because of the cold. But one night, things got much worse. Aman woke up to the sound of his bedroom door slowly creaking open. When he looked toward the doorway, nobody was there, just darkness in the hallway. Feeling uneasy, he got up and closed the door, this time locking it. About 10 minutes later, he heard something coming from inside his closet. At first it sounded like quiet breathing. Then something inside whispered his name, Aman. Terrified, he ran out of the room and woke up his parents. His dad searched the entire house with a flashlight. When he opened Aman's closet, he noticed something strange behind the clothes. There was a hole in the wall leading into a narrow space between the walls of the house. Inside that space, they found dirty blankets, empty food wrappers, and dozens of print photos. Photos of Aman sleeping in his bed. Someone had been secretly living inside the walls of their house. Here is the third story, the phone call, sent by my subscriber named Neha. Last year, Neha was home alone for the weekend while her parents were visiting relatives in another city. Everything was normal until Saturday night. Around midnight, her phone rang from an unknown number. When she answered, nobody spoke. There was only the sound of slow breathing. Thinking it was a prank call, she hung up. But seconds later, the phone rang again. Same number, this time a man spoke. In a calm voice, he said, "You should lock your bathroom door." Neha felt a chill run down her spine. She asked who it was, but the man did not respond. He simply repeated the same sentence again. "You should lock your bathroom door." Then the call ended. When she tried calling the number back, the phone said the number did not exist. About 10 minutes later, she heard something downstairs. The front door slowly opening. Panicking, Neha locked herself in her room. Then her phone rang again. Same number. She answered with shaking hand. This time the man whispered something that made her freeze. Too late.